This is the Water Quality Association podcast, promoting the betterment of water quality around the world.
We're starting the day each day with a general session, and I think these are going to be, they're a little different than what we've done in the past. I think they're going to be very interesting, engaging, and I think people would really enjoy them. So I highly recommend getting up early and making it to those sessions.
And hello, I'm your host, Wes Bleed. And this episode is all about education at the WQA Convention and Expo coming up April 22nd through the 24th in Long Beach, California. Learn more at wqa.org/convention. And welcome to the weekly podcast from the Water Quality Association, the leading voice of the residential, commercial, and industrial water treatment community. Find us at WQA.org. If you're a first-time listener or viewer, we're glad you're here. Be sure to like and subscribe to the podcast so you never miss a show. That's the magic of podcasting. And be sure to share the podcast with someone on your team. We also feature our podcasts on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/@WaterQualityAssociation videos to both see as well as hear our guests. In this podcast, we're talking about education sessions at the WQA Convention and Expo with Dr. Tanya Lubner, WQA's Professional Certification and Training Director, and Certified Water Specialist Jennifer Smith from Resin Tech. We'll talk about the many educational offerings available for attendees. We'll talk about technical and business sessions, of course. We'll talk about how to know which track or level to choose, and tips for maximizing your learning experience. Plus, we'll have our WQA tip. It's all coming up on the Water Quality Association podcast. One of the great things about the WQA convention is all the education under one roof, in one place, at one time, and you can really advance your career in the water treatment industry. And with us to talk about convention education are Dr. Tanya Lubner, PhD and Professional Certification and Training Director for WQA, and Jennifer Smith, a Certified Water Specialist and Residential Water Representative at Resin Tech, also the Chair of the Task Force for Technical Education. Welcome to you both. Tanya, great to see you.
Good to see you, Wes.
Good to see you, Wes.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jen, for joining us. Tanya, let's start with you. What will attendees see this year when it comes to education in general? Just give us an overview.
We've got our usual cornucopia of technical sessions, a variety of topics there, business sessions. We have, we're starting the day each day with a general session, and I think these are going to be, they're a little different than what we've done in the past. I think they're going to be very interesting, engaging, and I think people would really enjoy them. So I highly recommend getting up early and making it to those sessions. For the business session, we're continuing with the idea of multiple tracks so that we have something for everybody, for somebody who's just getting started, somebody who has experience in water treatment and needs something a little higher level, and then also a little bit on research from WQRF and research results, I should say, and the commercial industrial areas as well.
All right, we'll talk more about each of the tracks and the levels, because I know somebody can come in as knowing almost nothing about water, and somebody could be a 20, 30-year veteran in the industry and still benefit from these different sessions. So that's great to know. Let's talk about how these sessions were selected just a little bit, and just again, kind of the behind-the-scenes process. Jennifer, let me toss that one to you.
Sure. So we do a call for speakers every year. And that call for speakers, we ask people to submit, whether it is the technical or the business side of things. And once we get those submissions, we have our task force. I think we have about 10 people on our task force, and we kind of look at the different ideas of what we think would work for the group. And sometimes we do have to put some aside because we're just not sure if it's going to fit within what we're looking for that year. And then we have a lot of people who come to us and say, hey, can we talk about this year? Can we talk about that this year? And we will get ideas, and then we find the experts in the industry to present on those topics.
So you've assembled all of these topics. You've coordinated with the speakers. They're uploading their slides. It's going to be great to see all of the different topics and options that are available. Let me touch base on the theme overall being innovate. Will that be playing out in some of the sessions as well, Tanya?
I think so. I think you'll see it. You'll definitely see it in those opening general sessions. But we're also, we're continuing to find ways to deal with the emerging contaminants. We're continuing to get information on where our treatment technology is needed. We're starting to see more interest, continuing to see more interest in it. So the updates that we're going to get on, let's say, the lead and copper rule, and a little bit on where the public water systems are struggling, certainly provide this rich base from which to begin innovating or to explore current innovations. And of course, there's a lot around PFAS and how do we treat it. So you'll see the attendees will get information on that. Plus, there is, I believe, a special event related to innovation, something similar to Shark Tank style kind of evaluation, if you will.
For new products?
For new products, yeah.
Very interesting. And can we talk a little bit more, Tanya, about each track? What is actually being offered? You mentioned business operations and technical. I know those are the two overarching spheres of influence, but what else are people going to see?
So in the business track, we have a pretty good focus on sales, but also the need for leadership. And we have a session called The Art of Self-Leadership. So for the business owner who needs to work on him or herself. And then, of course, innovations in marketing. AI is changing things a lot. So we're going to talk about how that all fits in, and then profitability is very important. In the introductory track, we have the things that tend to be a little puzzling, I would say, to people who come in. I mean, we have lots of filters. So Jennifer actually is going to be talking about how to pick the right filter material. We're going to talk about how to size these properly. We have things like how to have a good service call for RO, good meaning thorough, making sure you're doing right by the customer with all the cleaning. We have taste and odor issues, which are always popular. And then we also have, and I'm really looking forward to this one, something on water heaters, the smelly water heaters. And we have a good group coming in to talk about, and I love their session title because they're calling it, if you're going to heat it or we're going to treat it. So I think that's a good place to start. So that's the intro track. In the somewhat more advanced, we have, we're taking a little bit of a deep dive into carbon for treatment of, I don't even know if you can call them emerging contaminants, certainly current contaminants of concern. We're going to talk about salt bulk formulations and how that might help with the efficiency of the water softener when you have things like iron that you need to take out. And we have, speaking of iron, we have a session called Choose Your Own Adventure. So the problem with iron is always when we start to talk about it, and we get people from all around the US, one solution does not fit all. So we have, what I've noticed over the years is the audience gets a little confused if the presenter is maybe talking about this one region or where a particular iron treatment process works in this one region, and it's completely different from what somebody sees in another region. And we get a lot of questions. So what we're doing this year is we're going to have experts in each region or in a variety of water chemistry conditions And people will come in, they'll choose their particular region, water conditions, whatever makes sense for them. And we're going to have these clusters around the room where they'll be given a water analysis, and they'll have to figure out how they might put together treatment for this. And the expert for that particular water chemistry is going to be right there to help them talk it out. So I'm excited about that one. And we do have 3 research updates from WQRF on current contaminants, and then a session in our commercial track on actually several. I'm so excited. I'm talking nonstop. But the track, the sessions in the commercial track, we have, we're going to be addressing the concern of RO scaling, because when you're using RO in these commercial industrial applications, scale is always an issue. Softeners are not always the best way to handle it. So we'll talk about what other options are. And then we have another discussion session on mitigating risk in commercial industrial applications, and not just the risk, but we're also going to be addressing how do you even get into these applications with the current contaminants of concern. So the lead, et cetera, what kind of considerations before you get into it, once you're into it, and just, it'll be good. We have a number of panelists who are going to be taking questions. So it's a really good, engaging opportunity for some back and forth.
And Jennifer, how were these panelists and speakers and presenters found and determined? I know many of them are members, but it must have been an exhaustive process to put all of these people together with the right topics. And I know some of them, as you mentioned, were submitting ideas, but just in general, how did you go about doing this?
Well, again, the submissions, those are really helpful, but there are so many amazing people in this industry and so many that are involved. And even if we don't know of a person that is just an expert in that topic, we just ask somebody, reach out, especially our task force. We know quite a few people, and we'll just ask, do you know somebody that knows this? And we're always able to come up with somebody. Then we reach out to them and say, hey, can you help us out here? And would you like to present? Of course, most of these people love to present and share their knowledge.
Right. And let's go back to the tracks or the levels again, Jennifer. So I'm sorting through, and by the way, you can go online, wqa.org/convention. You can preview all of the schedules, each day's, what's available each day. But I'm looking at this, let's just say, and I'm trying to decide what level I should be at. Is there a way to kind of get that sense of where I should be?
Well, I think the biggest part of it is if you plan ahead and look at the topic, then you should be able to figure out what is going to be the topic you want to sit in on. And it may be introductory, it may be the next level, it may be commercial, industrial. We have a little bit for everybody. And it's just, where do you feel more comfortable, learning, and do you want to challenge yourself? That's the next thing. When I'm in some of the classes, I go in there to challenge myself. It might not be something that I've worked with in the past, but I want to see, what can I do to change things?
Yeah, I think it's important to realize that the people are at different levels, and there's a certain, I guess, intimidation factor maybe that some people are concerned about. But you can always find somebody who can share their expertise at a level you can understand, right? Isn't
Right.
that the beauty of the members and in the discussion sessions that happen and the networking and all of that? I see Tanya nodding your head. I think you agree with me. So that's important. Hey, Jen, you're also teaching, right? Did I hear Tanya say that, or presenting?
I am. I'm presenting. I'm presenting on how to choose the best cartridge, what factors for cartridge filtration. Shortly after me is Mike Urbans. I'm going to talk point of use. He will talk point of entry. But there are so many factors that you have when you're trying to find the right application, whether it's cartridge or it's whole house or so forth. But, I'll get it. Some people will call me up and they'll say, can I buy a PFAS filter from you? And I'll say, do you have PFAS? And well, I don't know, but I want peace of mind. So it's explaining, when do you use that application? How do you properly use that application? Because some of these specialty medias or even your sediment filters, you want to make sure you have the right filter so you're not have a flow restriction, that it's going to work properly. You don't have other contaminants that are trying to fight for space on the media and so forth. So I'm excited for it.
And it strikes me too that because of your years of attending and being involved, you might have some, I don't know, maybe some tips for how to navigate everything. Is there one key that you would recommend getting to get the most out of education? Tanya, let me start with you.
Plan ahead.
Yeah.
We make the schedule available on the website as early as we possibly can. The app that you can download is going to help you figure out where you want to go and help you stay on track, making sure you don't miss any sessions. So that would be my first tip. I have a few others, but I'm sure Jen is an attendee over the years and has developed her own list.
I agree with the plan ahead. I mean, I have it ahead of time, probably 2 weeks ahead of time, or with the app, I'll have it listed out as to what I want to attend. So I make sure I'm there on time and I'm not missing out. But make friends. When you're sitting next to somebody, talk to them about the session, talk about other sessions, and you'll pick up a lot on what they learned or what they might recommend. And I've gotten some great ideas from just sitting down and making friends with somebody.
That's a great point, because I think it's tempting when most of us walk into a room to either sit in the back or to find a spot where you're kind of alone or whatever. Maybe you don't know too many people. So sort of try as best you can to sit next to somebody and move into more of the center of the room and take that risk so that you can be part of that discussion that happens more organically. Would you say, Jennifer?
Exactly.
Yeah, you never know.
And I think the schedule, I just want to add, the schedule setup this year, I think really lends itself to having some conversations even after the session. The nice thing, and what I like when I attend conferences is if I don't know anybody, like Jen said, it's a good idea to try and make friends, but the presentation gives you something to talk about. Have you ever run into this, et cetera? And right after the presentation, so we have 15-minute breaks. There'll be some coffee in certain cases. So wander out with the person you were sitting next to and start the conversation. You have some time. Or stay and chat with the speaker. They're always happy to answer questions, to offer some guidance.
Oh, this is great. Great guidance. So let me just throw it back to both of you again for anything else that might be worthy of consideration here as you offer either tips or ideas or suggestions about making the most of convention education.
So going back to our theme this year is innovation, it's the process of getting new ideas and putting those new ideas to use. And that's what I think I would love as a takeaway is take those ideas, think outside the box. And that was last year or think outside the box, but still think outside the box and take those ideas. And then you can use those ideas to educate yourself, educate your customers, and, better serve your customers. I mean, that's the bottom line. We just want to better serve our customers. And then also what's great is we have opportunity for the continued education points. So those of you that are certified or looking at certification, do it and but get your certification. But then when you come to this, you can get those continued education points. And that is huge. That is definitely huge. Everybody waits for that code at the end of the session. They want to hear that code so they put it into their app.
Absolutely. And I think, though, we might want to start putting it in the center of the presentation just to make sure everybody's awake. And I guess that would be my point, is it's so tempting in some of these to just kind of sit there and zone out, get your phone out, check your email. That's not going to help you get the most out of your session. Take notes, come with a notebook, come with a pen, or whatever you're comfortable taking notes on. Because there will be great ideas, great information, and something that'll help you start a chat when you run into that speaker or your neighbor from the session later on. And you get out of it what you put into it.
Exactly.
And then, Tanya, you were also mentioning that this is something new this year is on the third day or Thursday of the week. There's a workshop, did you say?
So the last day of convention, it's going to be pretty cool. So our events director has realized that it's a little difficult to get up on the last day and make it to the morning sessions. So she's going to make it easier. She's going to offer brunch on the trade show floor. So do come in, because it will be a good way to continue that networking and not have to get up too early and just get some food while you're at it. But we're closing out that day with workshops. And this is a good opportunity. So they're going to follow, once the trade show floor closes, we have about 3 hours set aside for workshops. And this is going to be in-depth. This is going to be great for business owners, for anybody who's looking for a little extra. And it's an opportunity to sit and discuss specific topics with your colleagues and get something, I think, actionable to take back with you.
Fantastic. Well, WQA's convention coming up April 22nd through the 24th in Long Beach, California. Get registered if you haven't. Book your hotel if you haven't, and your flight, obviously. And for those in California, what a great time to be able to have the convention in your state this year. So it's fantastic. Tanya, I want to thank you. Jennifer, I want to thank you for joining us to talk about convention education. And we're looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you, Wes.
Our WQA tip: did you know that wildfires can impact the water quality of an entire community, not just in the immediate fire zone? That's one of the many points found in the WQA resource, What You Need to Know About Water Quality After Wildfires. You can find this downloadable document along with many other resources at our website, WQA.org. Thanks for joining us for the Water Quality Association podcast, bringing you the latest news and insights from the association, our members, and outside experts to help you better serve your customers and grow your business. Learn more about water and water treatment at our consumer website, betterwatertoday.org, and learn more about professional certification, product certification, and how you can become a WQA member at WQA.org. Until next time, this is Wes Bleed. So long from the Water Quality Association.